Yes, sir. And we have two new so far.
Hello.
All right. How'd your week go? Good.
Nothing out of the usual, nothing out of the ordinary. Just trying to anticipating Sunday. That's just anticipating this. That's pretty much it. Nothing new. Just smooth sailing. Just paying off bills like everyone else does.
Yeah. Yeah. Stress all week over the bills, and then you got your breaks. My break is
That's it for
usually
now.
'cause I like networking with other people too. So I look forward to the networking. You know, but like
The
my
social aspect. Yep.
yeah yeah my breaks are usually Apex Legends. Those are
That's
usually
if
my
us
breaks. Yeah.
Arizonans.
Huh?
That's if us Arizonans are burning to death.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, did you see Nevada? I was looking at the weather in Nevada. They hit a high of like 118, and Las
I swear
Vegas like 100.
you can cook
Yeah.
eggs outside.
Yeah, so like ours is
Or like,
hot. We're hot out here,
mhm.
about 110 every day, 115, but they hit 118 out there. I think was one of their daily highs out there. I was like, geez. I didn't know Nevada got hotter than Arizona. That's crazy.
I would try. Like, just put some raw cookie dough on a cookie sheet and leave it in your car with the windows open, closed and everything. No covers or anything. And I'm sure they bake. I'm exaggerating, but just like it feels like that.
I'll pour some oil on the sidewalk and put an egg on it, and it'd probably, like, it'd probably look crazy out here in Arizona. Oh my goodness. Who do we
Yeah, just
got
add some
here?
dead bugs for seasoning.
All right, so it's been about 5 minutes, and we got one, two, three, four people new. All right, so the new people, which is Hannah, Dr. Abdul Rahim Noor, Devron. Hope I said that right. And Rain. I hope I said that right too. Any one of you guys, if you guys want to tell us who you are, how you found us, why you came to the event, what your current level of coding experience is. You could type that in the chat box, or you can speak. You can just unmute yourself and you could tell us, or whoever wants to go first. If you want to, you don't have to. Remember, you don't have to, but whatever makes you feel more comfortable. All right, we got a bunch of people typing. It says so. That's good. Yeah, is the cat avatar, is that one AI generated, or did you piece that one together somehow? Yes, sir.
No, it was just Google Images.
Oh, Google Images. All right. I was just curious because like if you use like a an AI image generator, uh, one that I like to use is but you got to use as long as you have enough search history with Microsoft Edge. If you're Google, they give you credit for every time
Hmm.
you're searching on their on Microsoft Edge, and then that goes towards free images, where it's really fast. Otherwise, it works really slow. But so if you want like quick AI image generation, or you go to Bing Designer or Bing AI image generator if you look it up, but it's usually Designer. It's Designer by Bing or by for Microsoft Edge, and you type in a prompt like that. Probably like you probably have to type in a pretty lengthy
Okay.
prompt like cat coding on a gaming PC. Or
Uh-huh.
cat hacker on a gaming PC, or whatever you want, and then you give it like color themes. You want to like be a little detailed depending on your prompt, and it'll come
Uh-huh.
out with some cool ones, and then you can pick them and modify them as you want. Yeah. That's what I thought that one
Well,
came
that's
from.
good.
I thought that one was AI. It looks AI generated. That's why I asked.
It probably is. It probably is. I was just being nosy. I'm like, okay, what? Because I like cats. And I'm like, I don't have any, but I just really like cats. I'm like, well, I'm gonna start coding. When is anything connected to cats? So just I just typed it in randomly one day and I saw it. I was like, oh, I love this one. I like the, and then I like the light up keyboard. So I'm like,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
I'm gonna keep that.
yeah, that one's
It
cool.
probably is keyboard. It probably is AI.
Yeah, yeah, you'll be surprised, but we'll probably have to check that out in a little bit. All right, so we got uh, all right, so Dr. Abdul Rahim Noor says, sure, sir, I am Dr. Abdul Rahim from Pakistan. I just starting generative AI in healthcare, and I'm very interested to attend this and learn new things. Thanks. All right. That's cool. Generative AI. If you want to type in there, what programming language are you using? That'll be nice to tell us like what your current level of experience in programming is, and then what programming language you're using. All right. Hi, I'm a product marketing manager. I have limited amount of coding experience. I know some HTML and JavaScript, and recently started to learn Python. I'm interested in learning more. All right. That's Rain. Did I say your name right, Rain? Rain 7. All right. So, all right, good. And Python, huh? Python's a good one. So I would say if you're learning JavaScript and Python, that's a good pair because those are the two most popular ones. So I normally like every year I do research or I'll ask the coding boot camp that I work with. I'll ask them for data too, and I'll try to find out. But I did this one during my own research, and I try to keep up with what are the most in demand programming languages for the next year, or you got to look around and then you got to pick a reputable source, and they're all going to have it in slightly different order, but the two most popular you always see at the top is JavaScript and Python. You always see those at the top, either JavaScript on top of Python or Python on top of JavaScript, but you see both of them. There's a lot of people, um, or there's a lot of tech companies hiring for Python and JavaScript. Java's another one of them. There's Java still pretty popular, even though it's an older language and it has a lot of older, you know, stacks that go with it, depending on what you're trying to build. All right, so let's see. Devron, I am about to finish my school and get bachelor's in computer science. Have some experience in coding in Python, Java, and other. I am from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. All right, so that's good. So university experience is good. They always expose you to a lot of stuff. All right, so we got. Oh yeah, so Dr. Abdul Rahim says Python. Oh yeah, Irina. So we have Irina. Uh, all right, so we got Irina. Irina, you don't count. You're not new around here. I'm just messing with you. All right, so Irina is a designer and marketer for those of you guys that don't know, or haven't been, or those of you guys that are new, and she's been doing web dev for a while. She did win a hackathon, uh, working on an app with the team. She has pictures of it and stuff like that, and she still has the app on her GitHub. It's pretty cool. And then yeah, and then she helps me out. All right, so um, all right, so like another thing I was interested in knowing is like from all of you guys that are new, if you could say, oh yeah, we got Glorious. Glorious never posted, busted. Dun dun dun. Glorious, if I don't know if you were here when I said, but if you'd like to tell us a little bit about yourself, how you found us, what your interest in being here is, what your current level of experience is in coding. It doesn't matter if it's zero. It doesn't matter if it's expert. It doesn't matter if it's somewhere in between. We're just curious to know everybody's how everybody measures themselves, like, or some people, if you're not trying to measure your own level right now, if you're like, I'm straight up beginner, that's fine, we don't care. um I was like or I'll tell you guys about myself in a little bit, you'll hear about that, but I was a beginner years ago, like almost 4 years ago, going on 4 years ago almost, and I feel like in the over 3 years that I've been learning, I got a lot done, and I try to tell people that they can probably get just as much, if not more, done. You just have to be committed. But there's some people out there that probably have more energy than I do, and they could probably get even more done than I've got done in the time that I've done it. Um, that's just the commitment and the constant not giving up, dedication. Just keep pushing and learning every day, and you're gonna get better and better and better, and then taking advantage of whatever experiences or learning experiences you can get. Also helps a lot. All right, so Glorious is typing. We'll wait for Glorious. Glorious tried to escape us. No, no. All right.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Who is this?
This
Hannah?
is Anna. I'm having trouble sending my message. It's saying there's a server issue.
Oh
So I
no.
think
Yeah,
type
that's terrible. Well, you're welcome to speak it. You're welcome to
yeah,
just tell us about yourself and your current level of experience, how you found us, how why you're interested in the event, things like that.
absolutely. So I have zero coding experience. I'm really interested in just figuring out a place to start. I'm specifically looking to create an app for my business, and I'm hoping I can figure out how to do that.
Oh yeah, all right. That's cool, but do you know what kind of app already? Whether a web app, mobile app, like in the app stores or something like that? Is that what you mean? Like maybe an app store app, like a mobile app?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you. We're waiting for Glorious. All right, while we're waiting for Glorious, I'm gonna get this ready. Um, uh-oh. Nevon. I think I said that right. Just joined us. You look new, so if you'd like to introduce yourself, tell us how you found us, what your current level of experience is in coding, why you're interested in the event, things like that. If you don't mind sharing, you can speak or you can type in the chat. It's up to you. You don't have to say anything either if you don't want to. So you got three options there. Do what you want. Um, I hope I said your name right too. All right, Glorious. Hi everyone. Currently pursuing a bachelor's degree in accounting, but on my journey of transitioning into tech, already learned HTML, CSS, basic JavaScript. I'm currently enrolled in a software development scholarship. Glad to be here and learn from all of you. All right. I was curious to know what the software development scholarship is. Like, if are you at a university, Glorious? Is it like a university, or is it some other program that's like that where they teach software engineering? All right, give me 1 second. Where's Discord? There we go. Oh, it's a program in Kenya called Power Learn Project that provides scholarship to individuals interested. All right, that's pretty cool. I've heard something similar like that in Kenya. I think there's a couple programs out there. I seen one. I believe it was on Meetup or Eventbrite, where they were advertising a boot camp that they're running. All right, so I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about myself, and then maybe we'll get into that. that AI image generation for his real quick, so that way we can mess with that a little bit. All right, so give me a second. Let's get to that. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen, and then you guys can tell me when you can share my screen. You're gonna see Discord at first, but then I'm gonna change it to some slides I'm gonna share with you. All right. All right, so let me know if you can see that, or Irina, if you can see that, just let me know. Say yeah. Can you see that? You can see it. All right. All right. So if you can see it, everybody can see it. All right. So let's get on with it. All right. So for those of you that said you're a beginner and you're trying to find a path, that's why I do these. I usually run these events every Sunday, and then we talk a little bit about paths into tech, and then we have like Q&A, and then we do whatever we want after that. So, and if people are we are doing a project still, so if people are interested in a project, they can I can introduce you to that too. So my name is Fernando. You guys can just call me Fernando if you like by my first name, but Fernando Trejo. I'm a graduate of New Camp Coding Bootcamp. I graduated from their full stack web and mobile development program back in 2021. Uh, I also work for them, so I'm a web developer and ambassador there for them. Student. I'm also a student at the University of Advancing Technology, which is the university here in the United States in Tempe, Arizona. It's a private university, but they have a lot of good. They're like a tech university, so everything they're teaching there is all about tech. So it's a really good university. They're fully accredited and they focus on tech. So like computer science, artificial intelligence, game development, like everything like tech you can think of, like AR, VR. They're doing it over there. They don't do like regular majors. Any majors outside of tech, they don't do. They're just a tech university. All right, so we got. I also completed a software engineering apprenticeship. It was 8 months long. That one was where I was trained for 8 months by probably around a dozen senior software engineers about the software engineering life cycle, software engineering principles, um, things like data structures and algorithms, big O analysis, and um, the biggest thing that I did over there that helped me the most was the one-on-one sessions with all those senior developers where we did one-on-one coding together, and it was a lot of problem solving, and they would nitpick the hell out of me. They would do everything to make me better, so it was really good. And then I'm also founder and CEO of Dark Mode Devs. So that experience at the software engineering apprenticeship was probably, I believe it ended at the beginning of, no, I think it ended July last year, 2023 actually. Yeah. All right. But it was 8 months long. It started. But it was a good, really, really good experience I'll get into later. All right. So, why career in coding? Because the tech industry is booming, and then everybody knows that if you get a job in tech, it pays well. It pays better than most jobs. But there's other reasons. Some people get into it because they love it, like me. Like I just discovered it, and I love it, and I got into it. And then I found out all the rest of the stuff after that about it. Like that's when I found out that people that were actually coding, getting hired coding, working for these tech companies were making a lot of money, and I was like, oh, right, well, I guess that's a plus. So that for me, it was like not the first thing, not the first reason why I picked it, but I've talked to people that in these events where they've mentioned that's the exact reason why they came to it was because they wanted because you see all these things out there online, like on YouTube Shorts or Instagram, all these reels and all that stuff. You see all these um, um, I would say actors, because a lot of them are like model actors. They actually have no experience. They're just actors hired to represent a brand and talk about, if you want to get paid more and in 6 months or less get a job in tech, those kind of things. And some of them are actually software engineers that are just offering their own programs and and that's what they're advertising. So I'm sure if you guys have been looking, you've seen those. Um, so like there is less demand for degrees there, but I would say like that statement that I have on this slide um, is pretty accurate because you'll see there's a lot of tech jobs that don't require uh, college degrees or university degrees, but um, on the other hand, there are some fields, especially like AI. If you're trying to be an AI programmer, the majority of those programmer jobs require a computer science degree or an artificial intelligence degree. One of those. At the university I'm going to, they pair them hand in hand. So like I was able to double major in computer science and artificial intelligence. So, but for like web development, whether it's front end, back end, full stack development, the majority of those don't require a degree. But you're gonna see that the different fields in software, some of them strongly recommend a degree, and a lot of them don't. So you just gotta know where you want to be or what your interest is, and then make moves like to further that interest, I would say. Why career in coding? Like I said, we're highlighting in this slide because most people talk about they want the lucrative career opportunities. Like, they want to start at 70, 80, 90, $100,000 a year because that's usually what how it is for a junior or entry level developer. That's like a JavaScript developer or any developer that's junior or entry level. They're usually starting at around, depending on the company, they're starting at around like the majority of the time I've seen like 90, $100,000. On the more rare side, you'll see people getting paid up to 120, and then on the low end, I've actually seen lower than 70,000. I've seen like about 50, 55,000. But 70, I would say the low end, like more general, like that you'd see more often, is probably around 70,000. If you look online, all you gotta do is look on LinkedIn, especially LinkedIn. Yeah, it's oversaturated. There's gonna be a lot of competition there. But if you go to LinkedIn or the other one, what was that other one? Indeed? Yeah, Indeed. You can go to Indeed. If you look at things like that, those reputable sources, and you're looking for software jobs, you're gonna see for entry or for entry level or junior level software engineer, you're gonna see that range. They're all gonna be offering at different companies different salaries, and they're all gonna be in a range. But on the lowest end, you're gonna see that around 50, 55,000. I don't know if I only seen one ever, which is the rarest, which was 45,000, and I thought that was really low. But that one required a university that you were a current student at a university, so um, that's the difference is that you pay attention to that. So like I would recommend to people read the job description because most people they just apply, they don't read the job description. All right, so what about AI? I always tell people AI ain't there. It's not going to take your job yet because everybody. I've had people say that. Well, I don't want. I don't, why should I learn if AI is just going to take my job anyway? And it looks like it's doing that already. But that's not the truth. It's not doing that. AI can't outperform me or any other human being in coding. Not yet. There's nobody like it can generate some code really fast, like faster than I can type, but that code is not accurate. So like New Camp Coding Bootcamp, they found a study where if you look at something like Stack Overflow, um, I forgot the exact number, but if you took 100 of those issues on Stack Overflow, because Stack Overflow is a platform for like context for you guys that don't know, Stack Overflow is a platform where humans that are trying to learn the code or even if they're like mid or senior level, they got stuck. They're on a problem, so they posted on that platform and they're trying to get an answer. So you have all these other developers that go on there and somebody tries to answer their give them a solution. Like this is what you can do to solve your problem, and they give them a solution. And humans have been doing that on Stack Overflow since Stack Overflow began. And so the data was if they took 100 of those problems that were answered correctly by humans and they tried to answer them with AI, only 52% of them, or actually 52% of them were full of bugs and errors. So like AI failed more than half the time a human being would, I guess you could say. Even though on they tested one AI model, um, which is good enough because they're all similar enough. But the Stack Overflow, you have a range of humans that probably answered. You could have possibly had 100 different humans that answered those 100 different problems. But the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't matter the human or the engineer. Um, AI is not at that level right now. It's already been studied and tested where they can take our jobs. And then you're going to hear about all those AI platforms where they say you can enter a prompt and they're going to build you a production ready software. And I'm going to tell you that they're full of it. So I've tried to test one, and some of them, and my people in my network that are senior engineers, they've tried to test them, and they call it right now. They call it everybody riding the AI train or the AI bubble, and it's getting ready to pop because it's already there's only so much that the natural language processing is capable of, and people are going to get bored of it. And it's nowhere near 100% accurate with code. This is with code too, like with text, like writing articles and things like that. It might be different, but with writing code, it's nowhere near 100% accurate. And it definitely can't build you in one prompt. It can't build you production ready software. That takes that's a task that's bigger than most people think. All right, so we got depending on the app you're trying to design or that you're trying to build. All right, so we got this guy worked at Microsoft, 70,000 a year, and he set up his office space to lay down and code in his bed or in his couch. Sorry. So that's another reason why people want software because they want to work from home remotely. And you have the freedom as long as you're putting in the time. You're completing your daily tasks for the company to set up your environment however you want. So why is there so much demand? And I always tell people it's because it's hard. It's not easy. So like, I'm not the one that's gonna lie to you and tell you that, oh yeah, it's so easy, sign up now, or oh yeah, it's so easy, you can, you're gonna build an app overnight, because that's not the reality of it. It's tough, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot of process to it, and you have to be willing to learn from your foundation and build upon that foundation and learn the entire process because um, it takes a lot to learn not just how to use the programming language itself and your tech stack, but how to put together software, like all the different pieces you have to put together to actually have a piece of software that works. And there's different ways to do that. There's even different ways to even do that. People have different preferences for different tools or technologies that they're putting together. You can probably have like 10 development teams of humans, of course, like say you had, even if you had like one senior over all those teams and the rest of them were junior to mid-level, and you gave them the freedom to build the same app, they would probably all come out with 10 different solutions with 10 different um, ways to put that dang thing together with 10 different tech stacks. Like it's pretty insane how it goes. So like there's a lot of leeway there how you build it, but it still has to be legit. All right, so we've got um, the luxury option to learn your four pass. So that was that previous slide where I talk about the four pass. I call it the four pass because that's the only paths I've seen that are reputable or that most people take, which was the luxury option, which was back to university, 4 years of learning. Not everybody has 4 years to go to school full time, but if you do, that's always an option. and then you're either paying out of pocket or you're getting a grant or a loan from the Department of Education here in the United States, where they pay for your college while you're attending, and then um, once you're done graduating, then you owe the Department of Education or whatever loan servicer that works with them, you owe them the money back through payments, monthly payments. There's that option, depending. And then if you qualify for grants, it's even better, because if you can qualify for grants, that's going to be less you owe, because they're going to probably pay off close to half the cost of education in grants with the Department of Education. So the but it's still going to cost thousands, like thousands. It's still very expensive. All right, so we have the traditional boot camp. So most boot camps, they charge anywhere from, I would say, ten to $40,000 depending on the boot camp, except for New Camp Coding Boot Camp. So New Camp Coding Boot Camp, they're the cheapest boot camp in the United States. So that's in the United States. Here in the United States, they advertise that they are the um, uh, most affordable and flexible coding boot camp in the United States. You know what I mean? That's ran in the United States, has a program in the United States for the United States economy. So, like, I'm not trying to compare that boot camp to boot camps worldwide. That's not the goal there, because if you compared any boot camp in the United States to boot camps worldwide, of course you can find a cheaper boot camp. So, but here in the United States, for actual coding boot camp that has instructors, has a large community of students, and teaches you full stack web development. Um, they're the ones that are the cheapest here in the United States. They're the most affordable, and they offer pretty much the same thing anybody else is, except the competitors are likely going to charge uh, anywhere from ten to $40,000 for the same thing that New Camp Coding Bootcamp is doing. All right, that's a coding bootcamp, and there's a bunch of them out there. You can do your due diligence and go investigate that. Go reach out to different boot camps and see for yourself. New Camp, you're not going to find nothing in the United States cheaper than New Camp. Teach yourself online. It's going to be cost you zero pretty much if you want. You that can literally cost you nothing or cost you very little, because um, it's however you want to learn. Basically, you can find as much free resources as you can online, or you can pay for cheap resources that don't offer instructors or mentors or professors or nothing like that. And it's a lot cheaper, but you're pretty much going at it alone, and there's no accountability. It's a lot harder to ask questions, especially when a lot of online communities ain't really too active. So I've noticed that over the years, online communities are getting less and less active. It feels like, and they don't feel like they're as active as they once were. Um, Maybe something needs to change. I don't know. All right, so that's teaching yourself online, but and also the that could actually take you longer. So like I always tell people, I have a friend that works with New Camp Coding Bootcamp too, and she spent 4 years uh, self-taught, just all by herself, because she wanted to, because most people that are self-taught, they wear it like a badge, like of honor. Where I'm self-taught, I did it all by myself, type deal. Kind of like pride. And she was doing that, and she said that she regretted it because it took her 4 years to learn what she probably could have learned in 6 months to a year at a boot camp. So that's the comparison, is that you spend 6 months to a year at a boot camp and you learn a lot really fast. It's structured. They point you in the right directions. They give you a path basically, and they tell you what you need to learn to get a job in tech. When you're all on it by yourself, it's a lot of unknowns, guessing. If it depends on how strong your network is, and you're going to be doing a lot of research and then trying to figure out what tech stack to learn that's really in demand. Um, but a lot of these boot camps, they have it all figured out for you already, or somebody with experience uh, would have it all figured out already. They would already know what to tell you. Whereas when you're by yourself with zero experience, you're gonna feel like I once did when I had zero experience and I was trying to do self-taught. I felt like I was stranded out in the middle of the ocean and there was no direction. Everywhere I looked around was just sea and sky. Like that's how I felt. Like I needed somebody to help give me direction or a plan, some kind of path. What do I got? What do I got to do to get what I got to get? All right. The other one is get a mentor. This one's more affordable, I would say, because it depends on the on where you're trying to find the mentor. There are some people will that might offer to mentor you for free. So if you get that option, go for it, because of course that's the most affordable. Don't cost you anything, but if you can get a mentor anywhere, um, usually it's more affordable because but the advantage is that you're one-on-one with somebody. So like you're one-on-one or in a class setting. Depends on what you're paying for, because usually mentors charge more for one-on-one versus putting you in a class in a group of other students. But the way we do it at Dark Mode Devs for our mentorship is we have you meet 5 days a week in the evenings, and we're live with you. Like we're live with you, and we're teaching you live, and you're getting live feedback, and we're putting you on the spot. Yeah, which is good for you. We're teaching you, but we're also having you do a lot of hands-on, and you're getting live feedback as you're learning. That's the difference. Most boot camps don't offer that. Most boot camps, you have homework and tasks you got to perform, and they're good because they're going to give you a lot of stuff really quickly over time. Uh, but the difference is that they're going to be like where you're doing a lot of homework on your own, and then you're going to meet up with your other students and your instructor once or twice a week. With our mentorship program, you're meeting up with us 5 days a week, every evening, and we're getting busy, and we're trying to get you better. I can't talk about any other mentorship program because I have seen a couple out there, but I haven't experienced any of them. But I try to combine the experience of a coding boot camp and being mentored by somebody experienced, kind of similar to what I experienced when I was being trained by those dozen senior engineers how to build software. I try to give people that back through the mentorship program. I try to give that back in that way. The average completion rates for online learning are 5 to 15%. This is online learning that are online courses where there's no structure, like where you're just watching videos and copying and pasting pretty much. Things like Udemy or Pluralsight or what's another one? Um, or even watching YouTube videos could be compared to this one because you're not engaging with anybody one on one. You're not engaging with classmates. You're not engaging with an instructor or a professor or a mentor. It's just you watching this video and copying what they're doing, basically, and trying to understand whatever it is they put in the video, right? Most people they say depending on how long the video is though too, because if you got like a 5-10 minute video, most people probably complete that. But when you got like free code camp, they put like 3, 4, 5 hour videos out there. Most people don't even complete those. So or even the other courses like on Udemy, you'll have a full stack course for like $30, and they tell you, wow, you can get back to it anytime you want. And most people, that's because of that, most people never finish it. That's the data that we got. The data is that 5 to 15% completion rates for online learning, which is very, very low. Most people, they buy stuff online, don't even finish it. Now, the 7 key strategies to help you finish online learning to raise it to 70 to 85% is usually because they're implementing strategies like one of them is um, the amount of money that you paid for it. Because, like, for example, if you paid for mentorship, or if you paid for a coding boot camp or even a university, that's a lot more money than doing some free copying and pasting off the net. And then they're gonna and there's other reasons why you're gonna be there. Just there's 7 keys that hold you, that keep you um, actually active in this type of structure. And one of them is because for me, if I put, like when I went to New Camp Coding Boot Camp, if I'm gonna invest even 3, 4, 5 thousand dollars in a boot camp, I'm not gonna just not show up. Like I was there every day. I made sure I was doing my homework every day. I met with my instructor, and classmates every day that I had to. I even put in extra time with my classmates, with the other students, with whoever was willing, just so that way we can try to further understand the concepts. Like we were there, we were doing it every day like that, because of the especially because of the amount of the investment. I wasn't gonna just put three, four, or $5,000 into a boot camp and not show up. That's the difference. And when you pay $30 on Udemy, for example, and you can show up whenever you want, you don't have access to an instructor, nobody's holding you responsible. You can basically neglect that. There's no consequence. You just lose 30 bucks. And most people are like, what's 20, 30 bucks? Or what's 50 bucks? And it's not good to feel that way. It's not good to be that way. Uh, or sometimes you invest that money and find out that, like, for example, you bought that Udemy course and then you find out that that course doesn't even actually help you the way you thought it would, right? So, like, there's that also that issue too. You need real deadlines. So, like, real deadlines means that somebody's holding you accountable. Like, you're gonna fail if you don't show up. That's how it goes with university, with the coding boot camp, with mentorship. If you don't show up, it's your loss. You're gonna fail. You're losing the money that you invested. It's just a waste. Um, you need to combine synchronous and asynchronous learning. So these are programming terms, especially in JavaScript development. But just to explain them real quick, the course you need to take needs to have coursework that you can go through at your own pace and coursework that is done by other students in the same course collectively, basically. You need peer pressure. The other one, and not bad peer pressure, that we're talking about the kind where your peers are pushing you to grow and help you improve and help you do the work. Like, you know what I mean? Where you have students you're working with in a team and you guys are actually working together and not trying to compete with each other. So like if you're in an environment where students are trying to compete with each other, that's not a good environment. And then I would look at the instructor more closely, because if they're allowing that type of environment, that's not a good place to be, because you're supposed to be encouraging teamwork and not have anybody high siding on anybody because they know more than anybody. Um, if you're in that type of environment, you're going to want to leave that environment. You want to be somewhere where everybody's trying to help each other, because in a team, there's always going to be somebody that knows more than you, whether you like it or not. There's always going to be somebody that can do something better than you. There's always going to be somebody that knows a concept more in depth than you. And that's a good thing, because if they're helping you learn it to that same depth or better, that's even better, right? Instead of like being arrogant and acting like they're the smartest guy on the team. That's the team you don't want to be a part of. All right, so you and your work need to be seen, and that's the feedback I was talking about, where you get live feedback. With the university or boot camp, you get that feedback. I think it's weekly, where you do your project, your weekly work, your assignments for the week, and then you have something that you're submitting to your instructor or your professor, and then they're grading it and giving you the feedback, and they're telling you if you need to resubmit or not, or if it's good enough. Um, and it's the same thing, or except for with the mentorship program, your work's getting seen in our mentorship program anyway. Your work's getting seen every day. So like when you're coding with us, your work's getting seen every day. You need end of course incentives. Everybody knows what those are. Like, you get certificates, good grades. Especially in the university, your official transcript's important. If I was hiring a web developer and they graduated from a university, I would be looking at their official transcript. I wouldn't care about the degree itself. I'd be like, great, you finished 4 years of study. That's great. But let me see your official transcript, because that's going to tell me how well they paid attention, how well they did, especially if it's not straight A's, or at least B average. If they got C's and D's and some F's thrown in there, and maybe they have a couple withdrawals, like where they withdrew from the class so that way they wouldn't have to take a failure, um, I'm going to be looking more at that, like, okay, this person didn't take their school seriously. So you got to make sure you keep your official transcript uh, up up really well. If you look at mine on LinkedIn, I've kept a 4.0 GPA every semester since I've started. So I've been on the president's list and dean's list every semester since I've started, and then I'm already going into my senior year this next year for computer science and artificial intelligence, and it's because I'm taking it more serious than I would have, years ago when I started college for a different degree. And then because I understand the importance of it. Because if I ever want to go to a tech job and they ask me for my official transcript, it's not going to look terrible. It's going to show them that for 4 years I studied and did my best, and that I really took it serious. All right. And then you need assignments that actually help you get a job, which are, or help you with work. So what that means is that the assignments um, that are actually teaching you the skills you need to get that job in tech, like the skills to build towards building software. Like one of the biggest parts is knowing your programming language really, really well. But then when you get to the stage where you're fluent in your programming language, and you can start using, like for in JavaScript development, where you can start using frameworks and then putting different tools together to build software, like things like that. You have to have a path where they're showing you those type of things, how to put software together, how to build it, the software life cycle, um, things like that, besides all the other technical concepts that go into it. So it all like goes together. Yeah, it all goes hand in hand. Those are the things you need to learn. What options check all these boxes? Of course, New Camp Coding Bootcamp. Um, but I'm here to just introduce that really quick. All right, so we've got at New Camp Coding Bootcamp, we have Web Dev Fundamentals. That one's not going to get you hireable, but that one gets you the fundamentals, front end, full stack, back end, job hunting, and cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is completely different, so don't get that confused. So if anybody, however you're trying to learn coding, if you're trying to learn cybersecurity, that one's going to be different than than web development. You know what I mean? That's a different boot camp. These are all technically different boot camps because you can split web development up into three. Like there's full stack, front end, and back end. And I always tell people that if you're going to invest in a boot camp, that to learn full stack development, because you're spending the money anyway, and it's not much more than the other two. But you're gonna learn the whole gamut of it, like I did. That's what I did. I took full stack, and then I was thinking, well, I want to learn everything about it, so that way I can make my decision. Do I want to do front end, back end, or if I want to stick with full stack? It gives me more options too, like for applying for a job, things like that. So that's why I did it, and I ended up sticking with full stack development. I didn't. I you If you're trying to, like, we had someone, I forgot her name, I believe it was Hannah, said she wanted to build her own app for her own business. If you want that, you're going to have to be a full stack developer, because being a front end developer or a back end developer alone is not going to make you able to build a mobile application on your own. If you want to build a mobile application on your own, you have to learn full stack development. That's the combination of front end and back end. They also have a job hunting boot camp where they help you get interview ready, study more algorithms and data structures, and then they help you do more networking, and they help you get your resume ready for the job hunt, and help you submit applications online, things like that. This one's the complete software engineering path that they offer, and it has all these combined into one boot camp, which is the fundamentals, the full stack, and then they focus heavy on the back end after the full stack, because the back end is really important. Most people neglect the back end because front end development's easier, but I'm telling you right now that if you're going to be full stack, back end, you have to really target that back end, because that's eventually it gets to a point, depending on the app you want to build, where that's the most important part. And then job hunting, because you got to know how to connect the front end with the back end, and you got to know what type of back end you need for your application to run the way you need it to run, basically, if I keep it in simple terms. um, so that's all about the boot camps: affordable, flexible, and structured. So in other words, they offer different times, because they have part-time and full-time learning. I did their full-time learning, but you can do a part-time learning, and then they try to help you make it fit in your schedule. Most of their boot camps are around this price here, around 2,700. Some of them a little more, some of them a little less. But that's what I mean about their boot camps. You're not going to find any boot camps cheaper than New Camp, and then they're structured. They're well structured. And then if you use my link, you get 5% off the registration fee, and then you get like about $300-400 off the boot camp itself for the early bird discount. So you get I can get you some good discounts if you use my link. All you have to do is just reach out anytime you're interested. And then we have the mentorship program, And right now we're doing 50% off, and that's what we're doing, 50 bucks a week, and you can join us and learn daily with us, one-on-one mentorship or class. And then we talked about all 7 of these processes. There's just to reiterate over them. We're not gonna. I'm pretty sure I went over them in depth well enough for you guys. And I hope to see you start that new chapter in your life. And that's it. That's all my yak in there, my presentation. If you guys have any questions, for those of you guys that are interested in learning more, I hope that was helpful. Or if you guys have questions that you need me to answer, let me know. Yeah, Carpy. Yeah, you're welcome. Carpy, so I don't know when you showed up. I know you're new, I could tell. So like if you don't mind, you can put in the chat if you want, or you can speak. But I was gonna ask you if you wanted to share a little bit about yourself, what brought you here, um, how you found us, what your current level of coding experience is, things like that. On Meetup. All right, that's cool. Hobbyist. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's good because like maybe one day when you're learning for fun, you might end up liking it too much and end up transitioning into learning it more serious. Uh, so that I've met people that have done that where they wanted to just learn it as a hobby and then it ends up turning into more than a hobby because I mean, if you start liking it, you're gonna be stuck. Like I'm telling you. Um, I like it too much for it to just be a hobby for me, but you'll get there, watch. Yeah, you'll get there where if you end up liking it that much, it's not going to be good enough as a hobby. You're going to want more. All right, so we got oh, Andretta's back. All right. Any other questions from anybody? No questions, no questions. I'll wait for Glorious. Glorious is typing. Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you, Glorious. Bless you too. Um, all right. So, um, if there's no more questions, I wanted to get into that really quick with Hisser, the AI text generation. Um, Give me a second. I think I still have my screen shared, right? All right, yeah, I do. All right, so let's go back to the screen share. I'm gonna turn these slides off. Um, all right, give me a second. All right, so the way I normally look for it, I just type in. It's called Designer now, but I used to look for it. Yeah, if you go to Bing AI Designer, it should be the same thing. Yeah, image creator from Microsoft Designer. This is one that I like to use. And you'll go here. This is how the page looks. And then it's going to have explore ideas, and you can see all these images other people have generated, like or that Microsoft has. So basically, the way their policy works for Microsoft's AI generation, image generation, is that what it like this Phoenix right here. That one's cool. All right, so like is that if you create the image, you can use it freely without giving them attribution, but the image also belongs to Microsoft. So it goes two ways. The image you create, if they want to use it, they can use it freely, and you can never say that, hey, that was my image. No, but that's the way the policy works with Designer. I think it's a good policy because I don't mind if me and Microsoft share my images, because more than likely Microsoft's not going to use my images, probably not the ones that I've generated. They're probably more into like, they'd probably like how they put these out here on their front end on their website here. They're likely going to use something like this Phoenix or something that appeals more to whatever audience they got, like these polar bears or whatever. It's because mine's are more for like I use it for uh, like my company website, the one I'm building for version 2. because I'm building a new company website. Like I use a lot of AI images, and Bing's one of my favorite ones. There are a bunch of others, but Bing's one of my favorite ones. Give me a second. Let me see what that noise was. Somebody show up. Okay, yes, Rajitha. All right, so I hope I said your name right, Rajitha. If I didn't, you can correct me. But if you'd like to tell us more about yourself, how you found us, what your current level of experience in coding is, or why you're interested in the community here, let me know. Go ahead, you can share if you want to. You don't have to share, but if you'd like to speak or type it in the chat, go for it. I don't mind if you interrupt me, as long as it's a good interruption. I don't mind. So like here, so you'll see with Copilot Designer or Being Designer here. They're gonna give you 15 boosts every day. Like you just gotta wait because you have to wait a full 24-hour period for it to regenerate. But they give you 15. After that, they start coming out of your what do you call that account? Your rewards account. So right now my rewards account is getting low. I had a lot more points, but I use these points a lot because what it does is it speeds up. So like it says, you'll create the images more quickly, and if you run out, the images take a lot longer. So like they ain't lying when they these tokens here actually make the image really fast compared to other ones. So like if we did like I don't know what would be a good prompt for the coding cat for like his you could say like a cat uh typing, we'll say typing code on a gaming PC. Like it could be just simple. It could be like you can have it really long or really short. And then we'll add like a, hold on, give me a second. We'll say wearing sunglasses. Kind of like what Hizer had there. So a cat wearing sunglasses typing code on a gaming PC. And then we'll ask it to give us, I don't know, what kind of color theme. Uh, um, what would be
Do
like
something crazy like tie dye or something.
tie-dye color theme?
Yeah, something trippy.
All right.
Just for the hell of it. But whatever
Tie-dye.
you want.
Yeah, tie-dye. How the hell would we spell tie-dye? T-Y?
I've seen it TIE,
T-I-E?
I dash DYE. I've seen
Yeah,
it that
that's what
way.
I thought. Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure. Look, it's trying to correct us, but let's look it up. So sometimes I don't know how to spell certain words either. Oh yeah, see, we were off. So don't feel don't yeah. If you need to look up a word, because if you need to look up a word, don't feel embarrassed about it. Who cares? So tie dye. It's tie dash dye. Just because you want to get it right too for the AI, you want to make sure that so it understands what you're trying to do. Uh, Tie dye. We could say color scheme, and let's see what it comes up with. But like it could be simple. Some people they do them like really long, and they put a lot of details, not just about the image, but about the like maybe the type of image or the direction they want things facing and things like that. There's a like these things get a lot. These things can go in depth, but if we hit enter, it'll use one of my tokens here, bring it to 14, and then you'll see it's gonna this little bar once it goes full, that's when the image is done. But you're gonna see that your history is always here, whatever you come up with, and see, look, this is what it came up with. Little crazy cats. These other ones, it'll get like better depending on what you put, but these ones are pretty good. Like you'll see how it's got the code.
Mm.
Sometimes it doesn't always put the keyboard in front of the cat, but like if you hit it again, like if you're not happy, you can just hit it again, or you could change the. I'm sorry, you could change um, the prompt however you want, and you can hit it again, and eventually you'll get, because it doesn't like always get it right the very first time, and then you'll get it where it will actually put the dang screen in front of the cat. And sometimes it doesn't. Like this one looks okay, but if you want to see the code on the screen, you'll have to do it a different way. But um, I usually put typing code. I know I usually put like something like building a website or something, or building software or something, and then I get the I'll end up getting the image more in front of the screen, like kind of like how watch we'll visit some of my other ones and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like um, the they say that depending on the image generator you're using, the less text that you have, the better. That's just like a balance. It's more like a balance because um, the more text you have, sometimes it's like it overcomplicates it, or it doesn't give you what you want, and then not enough text sometimes doesn't help. And then for this one, for some reason, they really want the cat on the spotlight, the AI. They don't want to put this staying screen in front. Uh, but like you'll see on some of these other images that I've done, for example, where you have everybody and you can see the screens at least that they're looking at something, right? And then besides the screen on the side of them, where it doesn't really give you that feel, where it's like it doesn't look like it's very I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. What's the cat code? Like cat's supposed to be coding, you're supposed to have a screen in front of it. So like you can just keep hitting that button until it gives it to you. But you could change whatever you want. Like anybody have any ideas they want to inject in here? You'll see it gets crazy. I don't know. I'm trying to be, we'll say, looking at the monitor because that sounds a little repetitive here. Let's see if that helps. That actually might get us what we want. Like if we want the cat looking at the code on the screen versus uh, the screen on the side of the cat. I've had a screen on the side of me. That was when I tried. It still didn't help. So like I guess because we put the cat with the sunglasses, they want they're insisting the cat's the center of attention. But for some reason, let's do this one. I like this style better. Watch me do this one. Watch. Let's try this one. Because I like using gaming PCs for doing everything. I use gaming PCs because they're nice. Sometimes they're nice and pretty. You know, they light up all cool and everything, and then they're more powerful than regular PCs. And you could do more than building. You could do a lot of like you can build any software you want pretty much because they're very powerful, and then you can play any game you want depending on the PC. But kind of, it still didn't give us what we wanted. But you get the idea. There's many of them out there. I was hoping that it'd give us the screen with the cat coding with the screen, but it's not. Bing doesn't. Bing's fighting with us this morning. But so you're not gonna get exactly what you want the first time. You might get lucky and get it, but normally, like when I'm doing this, I have to keep. Oh yeah, let's do a black cat, a dark theme with a black cat. I like black cats. All right, let's see. We have a cat. Our cat's a black cat. He's got green eyes. Black cat, green eyes. He's cool. Let's see if we can get him. Yeah. See, that one had the cat in front of the screen. uh, Somewhat. This one looks like it's got human hands, this cat, but this one looks pretty cool right here. I like this one right here. So that one looks more closer to what we were trying to do, except the paws ain't on the keyboard. We could have done that. Maybe you can even change it just a little bit further if you wanted to. You could say like a black cat with green eyes and paws on the keyboard. Let's see if that helps. You just keep tweaking it and see if it helps you get closer to what you want. This is how it is working with the image generation, until you get like better. You can even go online and like research uh, like best ways. Like you can try to research the best ways to prompt. See, look at we went back with the paws on the keyboard. This one looks decent, I guess, because the cat's kind of screen is in front but looking away, but kind of not quite what I was hoping for. I was hoping to get similar to what we got, I guess, this time, but with the cat's paws on the keyboard. Uh, but why not? Let's run it one more time, see what we get. But yeah, that image you found on Google, it's likely AI generated. But like you see that way, you can see like the level of detail, and then your eyes starts getting used to seeing um, your eye will start getting used to being able to tell when an image is AI generated versus created, like or versus non-AI generated. Because like the AI generated images, they have like a certain style right now. Like they have like a this like they have a fingerprint. Like the way this like no if you because I've messed with like a handful of different AI text generators or I'm sorry, AI image generators, and they all seem to have like something in common. I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's hard to describe, but they all have a certain style in common, and then you start getting an eye for it. Where that image is AI generated. There's no doubt about it. It's just the style that they have for it. But uh, when we put pause on the keyboard, it's still giving us the problems. Um, and maybe it'll put the pause on the keyboard automatically for us at some point. We'll try a couple. I don't know. We'll try again. Why not? But you see how this is taking a second. Like this one's a little bit better, closer, a little bit closer, but kind of like like human hands kind of type of paws a little bit. But this one's okay, I guess. But you get it. Like you could just mess around with it, and it does. You'll get the 15 free credits, but and every day they recharge it. I'm pretty sure every 24 hours they're gonna recharge that 15. And as long as if you're not using more than that, then who cares? But like if you're building, for example, like an app or a website, and you're looking for like AI generated text, or even or I'm sorry, images, or even just one image, sometimes it takes a while for you to get the image that you feel is like just right for whatever you're trying to do. Or even if you're just trying to do a social media post, like if you're trying to do a social media post and you need an image for the post, you can come up with your prompt for an AI image generator, and then it's usually going to take a little bit. If you want to get one that like feels more like the quality that you want, um, like the quality that you feel is that you want to put out there. Like I like this image. I think this one's the best one to put out there. And then I'm trying to use them I'm trying to use them all up real quick just to see what we get because it'll recharge tomorrow. I'm not worried about using them all up right now. I'm trying to see like this one's a little bit better, a little bit, even though the ear's sticking out of the hood. So like you're gonna get imperfections too with the AI. Some of the imperfections are you'll have like an ear sticking out of the hood, or with like a human being, or even with hands. Like the AI still struggles with hands, even though they're starting to do hands better. You'll notice sometimes the hands, if you pay attention to the hands, sometimes the hands come out deformed. So like AI struggles with hands. And if you've ever studied art, hands are like the hardest thing to draw. For like even artists, people that are artists, they tell you hands are the hardest thing to draw. Like if you're gonna be a portrait artist, they tell you to start drawing hands because they're very hard. Um, and then to go towards the the rest like the face and everything else. But But like the AI struggles the same way. Like you'll notice that like what sometimes the AI does hands, it's gotten better, but sometimes when the AI does, especially human hands, they'll come out like um what do you call that? Deformed sometimes. But I don't know. I hope that helped. I just thought I'd throw that out there, just because I noticed that. Like if you guys want to get if you need a more creative image and you want something like a little bit different than the usual, you can just go out there and just type something in. I mean, I've typed in things like like a futuristic jet that looks like a stealth fighter, black, things like that, and I've gotten some pretty cool images. So like you could put whatever you want, like whatever you're trying to, whatever image you think gets your message across, depending on your platform, and you could try doing it like that. But just know that the image, you gotta read the policy first. Being a designer has a policy. Where did I find it? It might have been help. Yeah, here it is, help. How do I use image creator? Where is it at? Their policy. Well, does it have their policy here? Uh, well, here's a good one here. How do I create better prompts? So it'll tell you. Uh, yeah, so like it's gonna work differently, of course, than searching for an image in Bing, of course. And it says when you're highly descriptive, so you want to be probably more descriptive than we were doing right now. So it says like get creative and add details, adjectives, locations, even artistic styles. Like I was telling you guys, like some people use artistic styles, like they'll say digital art or photorealistic, like they're giving their whoops. Uh, Here's one like someone just put an astronaut, and then if you want to be more descriptive, you would do something like that. Like I was saying, it doesn't have to be. Oops, let me go back. It keeps bumping me out. Uh, It doesn't have to be a mile long, but if you look at this one, it's probably going to be a lot better, like a close-up photo of an astronaut in a glowing suit made of plasma, as if the galaxy is inside of it, putting on their helmet. You can't, but you can't see their face because of the visor, realistic film stock, bright colors. So like this one, I bet you is going to get a really, really good image. And then you can kind of look at that prompt, and then to give you an idea of okay, what type or what elements or what type of descriptions do I need in my prompt to come close to this level of prompting and um, be able to produce a really, really well thought out image for the AI Bing creator. But they have their policy somewhere. Oh, here, I think it's here, right here, our content policy. You'll see by using it, access. No, they have it somewhere. These are all do nots, do not, do not. Oh, here we go. It's up here. Duh. All right. I think it's right here. The code of conduct. You are affirming that you have read the terms. You must use. Let me see. Huh. Oh, ownership of content. Here we go. So, uh, it says that they don't claim ownership of it, but by using it, you're giving away those rights, like certain rights. So basically, they're not claiming ownership of it, but they're not giving you 100% ownership of it either. It's like it's a shared ownership. See, they have permission to use it. You're giving them permission to use it. So in other words, like I was saying, if you read this more carefully, if you create an image on there, you're free to use that image how you see fit. You don't have to give them attribution. I usually do, like when I use AI designer, like Bing's designer, and I use it on for my post, like on LinkedIn for like a company post. I put on the picture that it was the images was created by Bing designer because I just give them attribution anyway, but you don't have to. But at the same time, Microsoft has rights to use that image as well, so that it goes both ways, like I was saying. Just so you're aware of that. So like if you see your image out on the net, it could be somebody copying your image, but because it's already an AI image, I'm pretty sure it's pretty much. I don't know how much. I don't know how like legally how much you can push that and try to see. I know definitely not with Microsoft, but with like other people trying to use those images. I don't think there's really nothing you can do or too much you can do unless they're copying the content itself, like whatever your writing content is. Like if someone's plagiarizing, that's different. But I'm pretty sure the way the images work themselves, no one person really owns them exclusively. All right, we have uh, I don't know how to say your name, but 5XN. I think I've seen you before. I'm pretty sure. All right. Oh yeah, Faizan. That's right. That's right. Faizan. Uh, yeah, I've seen you here before, Faizan. I remember you now. Yeah, I don't know if you were here last week, but you were here one of these past weeks before. Um, yeah, I remember. Uh, yeah, you messaged me the other day. Yeah, I remember you. I just didn't reckon. I knew I recognized the picture from somewhere. I just forgot exactly where. All right, um, so that was that. We looked at the AI image generation a little bit, just so you guys can check that out. You know what I mean? And it's a pretty cool tool if you want to use it for anything, depending on what you're doing. Of course, you're not going to use it for everything, but it's still pretty cool to use it for, depending on what your use case is. It's still pretty cool to use. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, so the project that was next. I know that we do have a project we're working on. I think I still have. Yeah, let me go back over there. Um, where was it? Where was it? Where was it? Miro. That's right. All right. So Miro. So on Miro, we are using Miro. Um, Geez, I gotta log in. Give me a second. We're using Miro as a um, project management software just because it's free. Um, it's a little bit messy. It's not as organized, I guess, as other project management software out there, but it's good enough for our purposes. So I don't know if any of you guys are interested or even familiar with any project management software. But if you are, then you'll be then you kind of understand what it is. It's things like Trello or Notion or Asana, things like that. I think another one was I can't remember, Jira. I think it was Jira, like those type of software. But except this one's not quite like that. It's a little bit it's different. It's a little bit different, but it's free. So that's why we're using it. For the most part, it's been fine. It hasn't been giving me a limit on how many people have been in here yet. So we do have a GitHub too. So we'll start with the Miro. The Miro, we have the project here. Where oh yeah, all right, so the project at a, I guess at a basic level, let me go over here. I think there's a better description over here. Yeah, so the original idea or the project was it would be an AI platform that informs users regarding the safety of foods or drinks they are consuming by uploading ingredients in the form of text and images, and then getting feedback from the AI regarding the safety of the food and or drinks they want to consume. So basically we have an app flow that we created. This is just a basic app flow where the user logs in. They're presented with tools and instructions. They make one of those selections. If they select text, then the text goes in the form of maybe a single ingredient or maybe something they're looking at. It'll go to the AI, and then the AI is going to process that information and give it back to the user in a form that they're requesting, where it's going to tell them more details about that ingredient, and so they can make a decision. Well, I don't know what that ingredient is. Should I consume it? And the other one is where they can just take a picture of the ingredients label, like the label on the back of a drink or food packages, the nutrition labels. They could take a picture of that, and then the picture, the AI, looks at the picture to make sure the picture is a valid image, that it's not, blurry, that it's a good image, all that, that it can read the text from the image, and if they can't, it's going to ask the user, okay, well then retake the image until they get it right, and then once the image is right, it goes to the AI. The AI takes the text from the image and processes it similar to well, basically the same way as the text input, and then gives the user back the results from that. Basically, that's what it is. We have another app flow here, but it's to add more features for the future, and then we have a style guide, which is originally we started with this, like, I guess it's like a placeholder logo, and then we ended up going with this one. Then we have the style guide here, which has the font, color scheme, and things like that. And then we have these here were just descriptions that I put in about different things we're gonna have to think about, like the product, the features, the theme and branding, legal compliance, and marketing. That's if we get that far with the marketing. And we already found a competitor online, so like somebody actually already developed something similar, but who cares? We're just doing it for educational purposes. Maybe if we can compete, we'll try to compete. Maybe not. But these are low-fi prototypes, which means there's a difference for those of you that are just learning. Like there's a difference between low-fidelity prototypes and high-fidelity prototypes. So like low-fidelity prototypes, you can do with pen and paper if you want, similar to this. It's basically like you're mapping out the what your app's gonna look like and the functionality it's gonna have. And it's like the same thing, but if you did it on a computer, it's meant to be like low fidelity, like low level, like where it doesn't have to have high details, it doesn't have to have the color scheme, it doesn't have to have the pretty logo, it doesn't have to look pretty. It's just like a map, like a source of direction for the developers, so that way they're all on the same page. Um, and then here's the wireframes we started with in mobile mode, low fidelity, and then for the desktop version. And this one's a little more high fidelity. This one's the Figma version, so it's a little bit more high fidelity, where it's like a light theme with a color scheme. And then it doesn't have the logo here yet, but at some point it will. And then we have the tablet view, which is going to be scrollable. That's why this is off the screen, because you're going to have to scroll to see that. You have to, not, oops, that's going to be scrollable. And then we have our management board here, where we have our team members, development, design, and marketing. We haven't gotten to the marketing yet, of course, so but we're in the development right now. Right now, the design team is done, which was mostly Tiffany and Irina that did. Irina did most of the work, but Irina and Tiffany, I believe, did all the design, more most of the designing already that we need just to start. And then we have people on the development team here, and all you have is, or we have these tasks here, and the way it works is you pick up a task, and then you put it over here to the green part where it says task in progress, and you put your name on it because you're working on it, and then when it's complete, you move it over here to complete. And yeah, and that's the Miro board. Then the on our GitHub, if you don't have a GitHub account, you're gonna need one. But we're building it with Bootstrap 5. There's a reason. We're using Bootstrap 5 because I wanted it to be beginner friendly. Because we could have used React Native or Flutter, but to build like a mobile app, a cross-platform mobile app. But I didn't want to do that because I didn't want it to be too difficult for beginners because it's hard enough learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript when you have zero knowledge. And I didn't want to lock people out of the project. I wanted people of all levels on the project, and the only way to do that was to build it with something like Bootstrap. All right, so then we have um, in our settings, we have our collaborators, and yes, I'm gonna have to do it again. Give me a second. There we go. All right, and these are the collaborators. So we have a lot of collaborators already, but we need more because not everybody can be active every single day. I guess you could say. You know what I mean? Because everybody basically we're doing the project whenever you get to it. So it's kind of like um, it's been going pretty slow, but I don't mind. I just wanted it to be public learning experience where it's public, we're all able to learn something from it and help each other out and build from it. And then we still wanted to implement some kind of code review process so that way the people that are learning, they can when they're submitting code to the platform to GitHub, um, someone like me or someone else more experienced will review the code and give it like an approval, get you some kind of feedback maybe where we can maybe make it better or optimize it and then submit it. But there's usually like they call it pipelines. It's like a flow, like a pipeline, like um, uh, I guess a way to process the code. It's like it goes through filters, like it goes through a process and different filterings just to get to the level where it actually in the end comes out to become an app. And most people that build apps on their own, they don't have that kind of process because they're not working with teams, or maybe they just feel like they don't need it because they have nobody that's really providing them the feedback they need on trying to get their code to a higher level. But that's the whole purpose of it. When you have those type of pipelines and you have code review processes, they're not just like they're also help you learn from it. So like if you make mistakes, it helps you learn from those mistakes too. Whereas when you're by yourself, and you hit, there's nobody, like I guess better than you, or nobody that's able to catch the errors that you're trying to submit to your code. Then you never get that feedback. You're just, I mean, you're getting better because you're building. So the most important thing is to be building projects because that does get you better. But yeah, I think you get what I'm saying. It just it's good when you're able to get feedback from somebody that's more knowledgeable than you because they're gonna make you better faster than you having to figure everything out by yourself. All right. Um, yeah. Uh, Anybody else have questions about the project? No? All right. No questions about the project. All right. Anybody want to join the project? Anybody that hasn't joined the project want to join the project? Anybody new? So I'll just tell you, if you do want to join the project, maybe you need time to think about it. If you do want to join it, you got to give me your email so I can add you to the Miro board, and then I'm gonna need your GitHub username so that way I can add you to as a contributor to the GitHub repository. But somebody already made a contribution already, but we're just deciding how we're gonna restructure it, if we're gonna go with that structure or not. So we're kind of at a place where we need to do some kind of we need to uh, further assess the situation because I think that so far the submissions haven't been too beginner friendly. They've been a little bit more advanced than somebody with zero knowledge. So I put the starter files here. That's not what I'm talking about. So I'm not talking about the starter files. There was actually a submission made by someone else, and they're developing basically in natively in JavaScript, which is good, but bad for somebody that's brand new. So like if we go to like I don't know, I believe they have let's go to main.js and see what they got there. Well, not much. But they do have they are it was the Lola, that's right. I think believe we go to components and she was doing the splash screen. So like you're gonna have everything she did it. She was doing the splash screen uh, and developing the app so that way it's developed natively in JavaScript and she was using a little bit of jQuery. So jQuery is like a little bit different than JavaScript, but similar. That's where these money signs are coming from. When you see these money signs right here, this is just a little bit of jQuery here and there, but then she's got JavaScript and more JavaScript, and it's all in JavaScript. Um, where she's creating the HTML elements using JavaScript. So like if you see it here, she's using the create element function, JavaScript function to do to create an HTML element, and that's a little bit more advanced. We're trying to change that up. We're trying to get to a point where we can like refactor everything and make it more beginner friendly because she didn't realize that we were trying to have a more beginner level structure, I guess. But she did a good job. Everything she still did was good. And so I don't know. I think it's good. I don't think there's a. I don't. You know, you go to uh, the index HTML. I was trying to have it in so that way inside of here. Like here, she has the entry point for the app. It's just with an ID name app, and then you're gonna insert in that div, and have everything loaded. Have the content of the app loaded through JavaScript there. And what I was trying to do instead of that was have everybody write out the HTML so that way they can learn the HTML attributes, the structure, the nesting, how to use classes and IDs, how to use, and then how to tie that in with CSS or like SCSS, and then have JavaScript in its own file that maybe manipulates the functionality, and then we can build a backend in either Python or JavaScript that for the AI side of things. And you know, for all the backend logic for how, depending on what we're doing with the AI, I don't know if we were going to use our own large language model, which would take a lot longer. I was thinking we should just use Chat GPT or something, use their API. So like we got still got some more work to that needs to be done on this thing, a lot more work. But I didn't know what everybody's experience level. Well, I know what most people's experience level was, but I didn't want to lock out any beginners. So like the tech stack for Faizan, what we were doing was I was trying to keep it just HTML, SCSS, you know, like SCSS, not regular CSS, not vanilla CSS, but we're trying to, it's similar to vanilla CSS, but SCSS and JavaScript with Bootstrap 5. Bootstrap 5 is a CSS framework. So like if we go to their website, I'll show you. We'll say Bootstrap, and we'll go to their framework or to their documentation. So they're currently at Bootstrap 5.3.3. But if you go to their documentation, I wanted it to look more like which I'll show you if we go to like a component. So that down here on the left they have all these sections. But so like with programming, you're gonna have to learn how to read documentation, how to study it, and how to use it. And right here, when we go to the components section, they have all these different types of components we can use. Even if we wanted to use something as basic as a nav bar, right? So like a nav bar, a bootstrap nav bar, what does that look like? And yeah, this looks a little crummy. I mean, because it's just the bare bones. It's not. It just doesn't. That's where somewhere where you'd put your logo, and then you'd put whatever relevant links you have. So these links need to be adjusted. And then this is even if you need a search point, like to search any through whatever like some type of filter. Like if you're trying to search for anything, that's if you even need that, and it can look very different than that. Um, But basically, the code, like I was trying to get it to look more like a beginner would see it. Like, so when you first learn web development, the first thing you're going to be learning is HTML and or HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And part of learning HTML is understanding nesting, hierarchy with child and parent hierarchy, how that works. Understanding what the difference is between different HTML tags like nav, div, anchor, button, span, like what all these are, what are all these are, why are they different? What an unordered list and a list item is. What are classes? What are classes used for? What are IDs? What are IDs used for? What attributes can I use? You know, we got hyperlink reference, we got type, data, whatever. But we have all these, when you're using Bootstrap, you're gonna have like Bootstrap classes as well, where some of these class names here are to get Bootstrap styling onto your component. And that was the purpose is that we were trying to use Bootstrap because it's a CSS framework. We're trying to style it with Bootstrap's classes, and then wherever we need, if Bootstrap's styling doesn't quite work out with what we need, we can use custom SCSS. And custom SCSS would be more like, I guess if we went to SAS's website, yeah, SAS, and we go to learn SAS, that tab, it's gonna look like vanilla CSS, just a little different. So like, it's gonna have like their variables just look different. Like their variables are gonna have money signs, and whereas what CSS is going to look like, we have nesting. So like in regular CSS, you're going to have to target the nav bar and whatever element, and then style it. Nav bar and then another element, then style it. You have to do that individually, but with SCSS, you can take the nav bar and nest the nav bar's elements inside of it, and then style them right away, and it helps avoid like duplication, like duplicating too much CSS, and it helps it. It's just a better way to learn CSS, I think. So like me personally, like if I was learning CSS, it's good to know like regular CSS syntax, but SCSS is actually a better. At least if you can distinguish between SCSS and CSS, which ain't much different, then you're on a good path. But I wouldn't use vanilla CSS. If you can use SCSS, it's better. But they have these other different, more advanced techniques like partials, modules, mix-ins, and inheritance and operators. But you don't need to worry about that at this level of the project. All you need to worry about is variables and nesting and learning how to write just basic CSS syntax. That's it. Um, JavaScript is JavaScript. JavaScript's always just JavaScript. I use MDN, so like for JavaScript. So like if we went to, I don't know, let's just look something up, an array method or something, just to get to MDN. So if we're looking at just a basic data structure, like an array data structure, uh, MDN's a good source to look at. Okay, what is that data structure? How do I use it, and it's going to tell you all the technical details about the array and how it works, array indexing, all kinds of stuff. And there are better ways to learn how to use it, of course, because I mean, somebody with zero experience looking at all this is probably going to be like, holy cow, what the hell is that? Like, what do I do with that, right? So like that's why it's good to have teachers. But like this is a method you're going to be using a lot. Um, there's other methods you'll be using a lot, like you'll hear about push and pop. The map method's a little bit more advanced, but um, or even just learning basic syntax, how to just write a basic one. But MDN lets you come in here when you're trying to learn JavaScript concepts or JavaScript, and you can edit this and you can run it like a mini code editor. Like if you run it, you're gonna get the output. Like uh, if I wanted to, right here, they're console logging all of the data that's in this array, which is named plants, and we can basically you can alter it how you see fit. You can delete that, and then we can, like for example, if I wanted to delete kale and cabbage, and then now we're gonna have, now if we run this, we're gonna have just broccoli, cauliflower, and tomato. That's it, an array. So like that's what I mean. Is like the good thing about it is like you can learn JavaScript using the docs, reading the documentation, and practicing with the mini code editor they have here. One that's more like user friendly, I guess you could say. You can reset it hitting the reset. One that's more user friendly than MDN is W3 Schools. So if you're trying to learn JavaScript for your very first time, W3 Schools has HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and you can go learn JavaScript and you can just start somewhere. And it'll just start, I mean, depending on how much time you're going to be investing into reading all of this, but maybe you're just going to use it as a reference and you want to just look up maybe keywords like, or even concepts like variables. I want to learn a variable. What is a variable? And what's the difference between using keywords like var, let, and const? Things like that. A variable like a reassignment. If I can, what type of keyword do I have to use if I want reassignment? Like, there's all kinds of stuff that gets into it. I don't want to get too technical, but um, I was trying to keep it basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript with Bootstrap 5 because I wanted everybody that's at a beginner or just learning to be able to be a part of the project and be able to learn as to be able to make contributions because if we do it all natively in JavaScript, and it's all just in JavaScript, and somebody's zero knowledge, they're at a beginner level, it's going to be really hard for them to keep up because there's a lot of things you have to learn before you get to that level where you can just develop natively in JavaScript. So for the back end, we haven't crossed that road yet. We're still trying to figure out for the AI, if because that means that the backend won't be too bad if we're using an API like, or if we use like ChatGPT's API, then we just need some we could just use some JavaScript logic in a JavaScript file and connect that to the front end, and we're good to go. So it could be complex and it could be simple depending on how we do it. I was thinking about going the more simpler route and using the API because one of the things that beginners have to learn to get a job in tech is not just all the stuff that I've kind of briefly mentioned during the meeting, but you also have to learn what an API is, how to use an API, how to connect your API to your application, and how your front end is getting that data from the API and displaying it to the user and all that stuff. You have to learn how to do that, how to work with APIs at a beginner level, and then even databases, even like, data sets and databases and with AI it gets a little more complicated because now you have different ways where you can train the AI or scope the AI to keep it within context, like to give it template prompts. They call them like template prompts. There's different ways to prompt AI. You can either program the prompts for the AI, like in the code using templates, or like you can just prompt the AI as a user from the front end, like we did with the image generator. There's different ways to prompt AI. But like when you're trying to program an AI to stay within a context, because like for example, if we have people submitting text to this AI that in this app we're building, we don't want people just chatting with it, right? You don't want people saying, "So how's your day, Chat GPT?" and just costing us a bunch of money because they want to be jerks and chat with the Chat GPT on our app, right? You don't want that to happen because then we get a bill from Hal and it's like, okay, how do we pay this? Um, and it's got to be paid. There's no choice, right? It's got to be paid, and that's what you want to avoid: somebody trying to spam us or mess around with our app. And that's not even good workmanship. Like, you want to make sure that your app stays within context, especially with AI, because these natural language processors, if you don't give them a context, they're gonna go out of context. They're gonna do whatever the user is asking them to do. So the only way to do that is with these APIs. They have methods that they have that we can use when we're writing our backend logic for the AI to keep it within a context. So that way, if a user types in like, "What's the weather today?" for example, the AI is going to ignore it because it's not a weather app. It's a it's gonna maybe prompt them like, "Hey, I'm not a weather app. Give me some ingredients to analyze for you," basically. Just an example, maybe not like that, but it's gonna to that effect. You know what I mean? You got to keep it within context because you want people to use the app for its intended purpose. Um, any more questions? But yeah, Faizan, to answer your other question, it would be really advanced if we built our own large language model. So like we can build our own large language model, then train it and make it very precise, but it could take us months, right? That could take us months alone, months or even a year or so. Some of these like big AI companies, when they built their own large language models, it took them years and millions of dollars to train them to the level they have them at now, right? But especially because the amount of developers they're paying to work on it. So like, and developers ain't cheap. So but like us, for us to do that, it would be a lengthy, drawn out process. We would learn a lot from it, but yeah, it would be a lot more advanced because we'd have to cover a lot more, and we'd have to use other software to and other solutions to be able to train our large language to write a large language model and then to train it and then to get it down to that to the precision that we need it to that's good enough for our app. And that's like we'd have to feed it data sets, large data sets, and like it's crazy. It gets pretty nuts. Whereas if we just use ChatGPT's API, it's already been trained. We just got to use the provided methods in the documentation to keep it within context. So that's the difference. A lot of the work has already been done for us. So like the way I see it is like me and another guy were talking about it. We're like, why reinvent the wheel? Like, should we build one from scratch when we already have ones that are competing? Like they're already reputable, they work well enough, and AI does work better with text generation than it does with code. We're not trying to use it to code. We're using it for for text generation, for feedback to like if you have a conversation with ChatGPT, it feels really cool. Like it feels pretty lifelike. But if unless you're experienced, you're not going to spot the errors in the code it gives you. So if you ask it to help you code something, you're not going to be able to spot out those errors depending on your experience. You have to be pretty experienced to know when it's giving you bogus code, and it does that a lot. It does that a lot. Most people don't realize that, but it does that a lot. And then you have guys on social media that are not helping. You have a lot of these people trying to make money on social media, like especially on Twitter. You see it a lot on X, on Twitter, where they're trying to sell people the idea that AI can do all this magic for you with one prompt and make you a bunch of money, and all they're doing is just trying to sell something to you for cheap. And because they got your interest, if you don't know any better about, like if you're not already familiar with the level of AI, or you've never tested it or used it yourself, it's easy to get fooled and think, yeah, AI, I don't need I don't need to learn development, or I don't need to hire a developer. AI is going to do it all for me. And then you find out that that was a lie, and you ended up maybe even paying some of those guys 10, 20, 30, 40, $100 just for their BS offering that they're offering you, just to find out that it didn't work exactly like the way they were advertising. So um, you're gonna see that a lot out there. I've seen that a lot out there, and me, I just leave them alone. I'm like, you can't, you, it's like to me, it's a form of scamming people. If you're saying that this application will build a production ready app for you that you can monetize and take to market with one prompt, and that turns out to be false. I mean, in the United States, that's illegal. That's false advertising. That's why you see mostly people from other countries doing it, because maybe they're able to get away with that in their country, and they're not in the United States where it's more strict on that. You can actually get sued for that, or people can report you to the authorities for that, because that's like a form of scamming. That's a form of false advertisement and scamming. Um, but just something to think about. So when you see all this hype out there about AI, AI is great. Like I'm not saying it's not great. I like AI, but it's not at that level. Don't get fooled. Don't go over there giving some guy, 10 bucks, and he's telling you, yeah, you give me 10 bucks, I'll give you I'll give you these instructions or my teaching on how to prompt AI to build an application for you. It's all baloney, because in the end, if you can't understand the code yourself, you have no way of verifying that that code is actually going to do exactly what it needs to do, or that it's even going to run, or and even if it does run, how many bugs does it have in it? Do you know how to debug? Like, you know what I mean? Or how to even write your own code? Are you at that level of experience where you can take it and actually like refactor it, or rewrite it, or make the tweaks you need to actually make it run to see what you actually got? Like, because AI is not always going to give you AI doesn't give you the best code, I guess you could say. It's pretty good, like if you're trying to ask it, like for example, if we went to Chat GPT and we said, uh, I'm a beginner, I don't know how to write code, show me how to write a variable, something so simple like a variable, it's gonna get right. But if you're trying to ask it to build, you know, I don't know, whatever your app idea is with a prompt, it's not going to be able to do it. It's going to give you some code, but it's not going to be what you need. It's gonna suck. It's going to be terrible. And there's other ones, there's other applications that these guys are out there. I think one of them was Devin. If you look up Devin, there's one that's open source and there's one that's paid. But they advertise that you give the AI a prompt and it builds the software for you, and that's garbage. It's people have been testing it and they're still littered with bugs and it still can't do it like the way they're advertising. So the project's kind of like slowed down, and you have to be on a waiting list right now just to test it, depending on if it's the paid version. If it's the open source version, they're gonna tell you, you'll find it on GitHub that it's not working. It's not working well and it needs a lot of work. But the idea sounds cool, right? So they're selling everybody on the idea right now. They're investors and everybody like that, to get the money that they need to try to build an app that can do that. But they're not actually, the app is actually not actually that performant right now where it can do that. So I like to try to tell people that uh, it's kind of like the AI bubble right now. Everybody's riding the AI train. And I guess it's a good train to ride because AI is cool, but just realize what it's capable of, or test it yourself. Like as you start learning, keep testing it yourself, and you'll start seeing what it's capable of, and you'll realize it yourself. Anybody got any questions? So Glorious changed the picture. What is that? AI image generated? Yes, it is Glorious. I can tell. It's a nice one. All right. No questions from nobody. You don't have to have questions, so don't feel pressured. All right, so I guess before we end, I was just gonna tell everybody, like anybody here, if you're interested in anything, or you need anything, or you just want to reach out, I don't care. You can reach out to me or Irina, either one of us. You could just DM us. It would let us know anywhere we can help you. And then if you guys want to get into the project, you could just DM me, same thing, and give me your email and your GitHub, and I'll add you to the project, so that way you can see, you can check out the Miro board and you can see what you can contribute to the GitHub if you want to try to if you want to write some code that you want to contribute to that project. It's up to you. Um, it's a little bit of a mess. I'm not gonna lie. So the project is a little bit of a mess, a little messy, but it's because we have people of different uh, experience levels, and we're trying to tie that all in together. And I just wanted it to be like a public learning experience. And if it ever monetizes, great. If it doesn't, who cares? I just wanted people to be able to learn from it. Um, I could give you the link to the Miro board, but I don't think it lets you use it that way. You have to be added to as a team member to the Miro board to actually use it. So you would have to send me an email, because somebody tried that already and they ended up sending me their email because they weren't able to. They had to be added to the team. Um, But yeah, there's no limit so far on the amount of. It hasn't limited me so far. I thought it was gonna limit me because it said, it gave me a warning already, but it hasn't stopped me yet. So I've still been able to add people, so it hasn't been too bad. So yeah, if you're interested, just DM me. Just DM me your info, and then I'll connect it. I'll connect you to the Miro and the GitHub as a collaborator if you want to get on the GitHub. Anybody else? No? All right. Well, I know we're gonna end a little bit early, a few minutes early. Like I said, any of you guys need anything, you can reach out. Thank you guys for coming, and I'm glad you guys all came, or that you guys are all part of the community here. If you guys want to post anything, you can post anything in any of these channels that you've asked yourself or that you've given yourself access to. Because if you go into I believe it's the role where you can pick a role, you can unlock more channels if you select the roles that you're interested in, and then you can like look in there, see what's in there, or you can add to it if you think you have anything that can help anybody. Or if you have anything you need help with, you can always post it and just tag everybody if you want, like add everyone and be like, I need help, I'm doing this, I need a little bit of help if anybody can help me, and then hopefully somebody, if not me, will reach out to you, help you out. But we have some chat channels, that are kind of context or contextualized, like AI chat. We have our general chat, and then I have a YouTube channel as well. Let me put that YouTube channel because I post it's not the greatest yet. We'll make it great one day, but it's a basic, but it's cool though. All right, we started our own YouTube channel, and I put it in the chat if you guys are interested. Where whenever we post videos or make content, you'll if you subscribe, you'll get the notification when we make new posts. But don't worry, like I say, you don't have to subscribe. But if you do subscribe, thank you. Um, yeah, and thank you guys for being a part of the community. And I hope you guys keep joining us and want to join, you know, however we can help you guys. Okay, Rain. All right. Just yeah, you could DM me here, Rain. You could or if I want, like I'll send you a message real quick. I'm just gonna say hello and thank you for coming, for attending our event. Just so that way you can see, and then I'll add you as a friend too. So I sent you a friend request too, so that way you know where to find me on the DM whenever you want. Uh, all right, and that's gonna conclude it. We're at 12, and then I hope to see you guys on Sunday. We're here every Sunday. And then if there's anything you guys are interested in, like any topics you guys are interested in, us going over on these meetings, just let me know, and we can do like a certain topic you're interested in on a Sunday. Like how we went over AI image generation, maybe we can go over something else. Like every Sunday, we can go over something and go over the project, go over, whatever you guys want. Just let me know. I'll see you. You guys have a good Sunday or a good weekend.